only a few days now away from a sixth successive semi-final and real excitement, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's a funny scenario. People might not quite get this, but actually the season gets exciting now. And actually, I know this might sound a bit funny because everyone will go, "Oh, now the big games start." The reality is, it doesn't feel like that from a coaching perspective. And I know it sounds a bit strange, but actually getting here, getting in the top four, and particularly getting in the top two, is the really tough bit. Now we've actually got to roll our sleeves up and try and talk about enjoying 2 games to win the season, because at the start of the season you've got to win 17, 18 games pretty much to get top 2, and that's tough. That takes some doing, and I've got to give the players great credit for that, because the consistency you have to show week in, week out to get top 2 takes some doing. And the proof of the pudding is I know Bristol got to the top 4 last year, but the other guys haven't been there. Bristol haven't been there before that for quite a while. It shows you how hard it is to get there, because we've been, the other 3 haven't been here for other than last year as a one-off, for quite a number of years. And so actually now it's about locking down, enjoying yourself, throwing yourself into 2 games and trying to win something over the course of 2 games. It actually is a different situation now, in a different environment, and one I'm really looking forward to.
The players are used to this do or die situation now, almost from previous years, and particularly last season.
That's right, and I think that's the thing we've got to talk about, and that's where it should give us some confidence. We've got to make sure it doesn't give us overconfidence, because all of those semi-finals have all been tight games for quite a long time. And I know we've won a couple of them with decent scores come the end of the game, but on the whole, they tend to be real battles for 50, 60 minutes, and then a team can come through. And I'm not expecting anything different this week. We'll talk about it a bit now as we prepare for our kind of last main session of the week, and we've got to get our heads around being tough for a full 80 minutes.
What have you learnt from last weekend's game? I know the first half didn't quite go to script, as you imagine, but it's almost you flipped a switch second half. I don't know if there's too much to learn from it. I mean, obviously, we know Sale are a good side anyway, and they're a good physical, strong team, and so that's not something we learned last week. We knew that. But I think what we did learn was, if we stop and we look at them and we think we can manage the situations in the game, you can get yourself really on the back foot, because 100% we did that. And then once we had no option but to not manage the game and actually have to go out there and win the game, because that's pretty much the position we put ourselves in, we can be a good side. And I'm hopeful that the fact it's a semi-final will make sure we don't do that. But again, we're going to have to make sure we talk about it and we approach it and not run away from that factor. You've had a few setbacks this week with various things, but the buzz around the place, I can see it. The boys are excited. They know it's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be stupid to say that what happened last night in the disciplinary with Dave and with Sam isn't disappointing and hasn't hurt the team. Of course it has, but you can use hurt in a positive way. I'm very certain this group of players will use the hurt for those 2 guys in a very positive way. I'm also certain that the guys who step up will be good, because they're good players and they play well for us this season. And that's been the benefit of the season, where a lot of our guys have had to quickly earn their stripes. So that part of it I'm excited by. I'm as excited about the opportunities for a couple of players as I am disappointed for Dave and Sam. And now it's about getting on the front foot, looking forward to the game, and just doing the best for ourselves.
I remember 2017, it was Sam Simmons in that very position. He came off the bench, scored a semi-final try, and now it could be a Sean Lonsdale, Richard Capstone.
Exactly, and that's exactly how it works. Stars are born now. That's how it happens. That bit of steel that finishes off where they maybe need to go. Like I say, steel gets created in furnaces. It doesn't just get created by running around on the sand and in the sea and having a laugh. You do the hard work and you get yourself right in the thick of the fire, and that's what those guys are going to have to do, and that's what's going to make them great players of the future.
Rob, you talked for a while now about getting home advantage and how important that was. The crowd played their part last week, and you could see how the boys physically grew on the pitch that last quarter in particular.
Well, that for me again was a bit of a frustration with the team, because the crowd were here, they were desperate to go, they were desperate to get behind the lads, but we only really made ourselves an easy team for them to get behind late in the game. And to be fair to the crowd, they probably started the process. We were fighting for our lives really on the line just after half time, and the crowd got going and started chanting, and and it did make a difference, and then they were kind of a part of that force that drove us home and made sure we've come back here this week. So I think we owe it to them to put in a better performance as well and round off our home season with showing the best of ourselves and not be too patchy through the 80 minutes.